This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa. Using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa. For all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. Henshaw Trailer Sales of Richland, Iowa. You need a trailer? They've got your trailer, and they can fix what they sell and don't in their full-time repair shop. Gerling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs, and they even have a conference room you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
It's March 25th, 2025. Hey, I actually said the month correctly. I was at the Mount Pleasant School Board on March 24th, and in my opening segment, I called it May 24th. Trust me, when I saw that it got past all of my editing team, which is me, I was pretty embarrassed by it. But today is March 25th. I'm out front of the Henry County Courthouse in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Before I go any further, I want to thank announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for his golden pipes and wonderful introduction. Planning and Zoning held a hearing today, public hearing this evening at 6 o'clock, and the public was allowed to state their feelings, pro and con, about alternative energy overlay and everything that goes with it. The folks on the Planning and Zoning listened. You're going to get to see all of that, and they decided to move forward with the recommendations of the Henry County Watchmen's zoning proposals, and that will now go to the Henry County Board of Supervisors. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can watch it happen and unfold right now.
Can you hear me? I don't need to use this thing. All right. Okay, we'll call our meeting to order. Anybody want to look at the agenda? And the rest of you met last 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes, yeah, we've been on the 12th.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a motion to approve the agenda?
Yeah, motion to
I'll make a
approve.
motion to approve the agenda.
Got a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next thing on the agenda is to review and approve the last minutes. Anyone makes a motion to approve?
I will.
You got one? You got a second?
Second.
All motion to approve the last minutes. Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, that goes. And we will open it up for public hearing and recommendation to repeal or replace Title VI, Chapter 2, Section 1111, 2 through 6, Alternative Energy Overlay District.
Can we get a motion to go into public?
Yeah, you got a motion for that?
Yes, I'll motion.
Got
Go
one
into
motion,
public.
second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. I've got a list of the speakers here. I'll just call you off in order. Everybody has 3 minutes unless somebody else gives up their time. When there's 15 seconds left, I'll just raise my hand and let you know that your time's getting short. Okay, first on the list is like Kate Wycheck.
I relinquished my time.
Who are you giving that to?
I'm not giving it to anybody, I'm relinquishing.
Oh, you're really, okay. Robert Paycheck.
Okay, my name's Bob Beechek, 2133 Racine Avenue, Mount Union, Iowa. I don't think I need a microphone. The only problem I have still, I feel it's a little discriminatory. On the setback section, 3,280 feet from property lines, but yet when we go to incorporated and unincorporated residential areas, you're given 2 miles. I personally feel that the 2 mile setback in case of a disaster where one comes apart would be better than 3280 or 3260, just like the case up here in Mechanicsville. Just a little extra cushion to protect my ag ground. Thank you.
Dorothy Wanger.
I'm gonna save my time for somebody else. I'll save my time for somebody else.
Okay, who are you gonna give it to?
I don't know who's I'm not sure yet.
All right, I'll mark it down here. Roland Messer.
I'd like to donate my time to Brian.
Brian, okay. Brian Messer, then you have 6 minutes.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I am reminded of the first time that I became aware of politics and its potential to do harm. I was just a kid in Little League and we were playing at Salem. The normal umpire did not make it to the game, so they went to the local bar and found someone to umpire the game. At that moment, we no longer had a chance to win. It was no longer a fair competition. I actually had a ball that hit the ground before the plate and it was called a strike, one of many examples that day. Now I see the same thing being played out on the big stage in this board and the county. The game started with a set of rules established by 4 members of this board and 2 of the current supervisors in 2022. However, some spectators showed up in the 4th inning and became vocal, so it has been decided to completely change the rules. Now the umpires have adopted new rules, rigging the game and taking fairness out of the equation, which leads me to this document. This is the new document that has been submitted and adopted. Most of the rules in here would kill any project by themselves, much less the document as a whole. You know that no project could ever come close to moving forward under these rules. This is clearly not deregulation, it is regulation. I must say that it is very concerning that one of your board actually said in a work session that he was unaware that a solar and wind ordinance existed, even though he was on this board in 2022. But even if he weren't, shouldn't all board members be at least familiar with all ordinance? Not necessarily an expert, but familiar with? Just a thought. So now the board washes their hands of this and adopts an ordinance that the county attorneys have said publicly many aspects of this ordinance would be indefensible in court. Let's look at some of those possible examples. Prime agricultural land. No turbine on ground if 20% or more of a parcel is rated above 65 CSR. I honestly cannot believe this is real. You want to tell me that I can't do anything on my land that I want because the ground is too good? Do you want me to stop do you want to stop all building of any structures on land that meets this criteria? Are you telling me that I can't even rest my land for a year? What if I don't want to farm it in your definition of agriculture? Am I allowed, or must I farm it? It must be farmed or not. Are you going to try and ban placing any part of land in CRP if it meets this requirement? Because there's a lot of land that does. If your answer is no to those, that you don't have any design to do or you think those are unfair, then you are specifically singling out a specific industry. This appears to be acting in bad faith and may not be defensible. I'm going to skip that because I won't have the time. Let's talk about setbacks briefly. Why 3,280 feet or a kilometer? Is it because one of the obscure sheets in a manual talked about lightning strikes? How many people have been hurt or killed by turbine lightning strikes? To my knowledge, 0. But if that is the standard to keep away from homes, then how about the tallest structures in every town around here? Those are tall metal water towers or tall communication towers that are metal and attract lightning. Are we worried about people living within a kilometer of those or 2 miles of those? Apparently not. Let's talk about noise briefly. If you legitimately think that these noise limits are justified, then let's make them apply to all noise, including grain bin dryers. Those operate above 100 decibels. They also emit infrasound, as do most motors. They also emit electromagnetic waves, as do most of our power lines. The difference is that most of these are within a few hundred feet of a dwelling. And we know that sound travels by the inverse square law, which is a finite mathematical equation, such that these dryers should be causing massive health cases because the sound is much more severe and closer than the turbine noise ever would be under the current existing ordinance passed in 2022. Finally, I want to talk about some of the potential health concerns. As some that are conducted on human studies, as someone who has done studies conducted on humans, helped write grant proposals, study designs, methodology, collect data, analyze data, and written conclusions. One example of an article that I co-authored that is a double-blind randomized study. I have the base understanding of what good studies include. I have read several hundred studies, watched many lectures online to come to a conclusion that a lot of bad articles exist on this topic. I have taken 2 graduate level research classes, and this helps to understand the problems with studies. However, without going into a long tutorial, the number 1 threat to research is bias. The opposition has presented a few articles to various boards within the county, with one co-authored by Linda Rogers, which states in the article, she credits being represented the women against wind turbines. This automatically reeks of bias, and anyone that would co-author with her brings up suspicion. That includes Dr. Ben Johnson. If they would do some double-blind randomized studies, then maybe their conclusions would have more validity. Here are a few examples. Here's an example of a double-blind randomized study. Where am I at? High level but inaudible infrasound did not appear to perturb any physical problems. And I have more. Sorry I ran out of time to do more.
That was 15 seconds, so you,
It's okay. I'm okay.
not time for that.
Thank you for the opportunity to do that.
Next on the list is Brooke McCarter.
Donated to Bill Crawford.
Ron Weiss.
Donated to Bill Crawford.
Diana Burden.
I'm not gonna donate my time, sorry. I'm concerned about the turbines because we have small acreage. And sometimes the big acreages get a lot of control over things and we don't get to have a say. So I appreciate having the ability to speak tonight. Insurance cost. Farmers, I think, should be covering costs with the insurance. Having been through an F1 and most recently another bad storm and numerous times, when you have damage, the farmer, the stuff goes into their field, but it also goes into other people's homes. I think the setback should be covered with all of our property, not just a building, because you don't know what you're gonna do. Sometimes farmers even decide to build a building later on, and they didn't actually intend to have that. And there are a lot of disasters that happen. Most recently, the one turbine had some very bad damage, and they still haven't got that cleaned up, and the state is attempting to get that taken care of. I respect you people, and I think everybody else has respect. We need to have rulings that everybody has a guarantee about something, not just the big farmers. You know, I don't have a lot of acreage, but I do have a garden, and I do utilize that with other people. And that's an important thing to me and to my family. And we live on a family farm of acreage. You talk about noise and things like that. I'm sitting out here waiting to come in. There was a lot of noise. There's laws for that. There should be laws about the turbines too, because it does affect people. Everybody has some things that bother them. And some of those folks might not be bothered now, but they will be bothered later. Thank you very much for your time.
Nick, I apologize, I missed you on the list, but you're up now.
Nick Brown, are we ready? Nick Brown, I'm the RWE, I'm sure you know. And I just wanted to say that there are over 6,400 turbines in Iowa right now. And Iowa gets approximately 61% of their power from wind, 26% from coal, and 11% from natural gas. The state of Iowa has a 25% lower power bill than the average of the rest of the country. Like I said before, I live in Florida, I live in Chicago. I paid $600 in power bills in my life, and I know what it's like to be burdened by high electricity costs. Increasing Iowa's total wind capacity by 50% could slash your power bill by $100. That's $500 million a year in Iowa power bills alone. Moving on to lease payments. The wind industry provides $75 million annually in lease payments to Iowa farmers. This money goes directly to the farmers and into the community, offsetting the variability that comes with farming and ensuring that generational farmers can continue to farm profitably, not have to sell, and not have to move on to other things. Moving to the county, wind energy provides over $60 million a year in tax dollars to Iowa counties, schools, townships, and municipal districts. In Howard County, wind turbines are paid for $21.5 million worth of special projects through tax incremental financing. These projects come at no cost to the residents, and that was 30 bridges that they were able to replace, 20 miles of paved roads, county equipment, graders, dump trucks, and other vehicles that the county needs. That is renovations to local parks, nature centers, watershed projects, and fishing habitats that would have fallen into disrepair had wind turbines not been in that county. That is all non-inclusive of the money that they give to the school district for ground improvement, staff salaries, and additional technology for students. And so I would pose a question, is Iowa thriving? One way a state can thrive, like I said, is a low cost of living. Low cost of living is driven by things like low property taxes, low electricity bills. New businesses, technologies, and industries contribute to how a state can thrive. Jobs and opportunities, how a state can thrive. And I believe that the wind industry has provided that and will continue to provide that for the state of Iowa. All of these things. And yes, there are challenges, and yes, there are negative events that have happened, but as an industry, there are constant improvements and new technologies meant to make these devices safer. Technology today looks immensely different than the technology 20 years ago, like a lot of these events and a lot of these turbines were installed. Tractors weren't autonomous, phones still flipped, and turbines didn't have lightning protection. And so I would just ask, when you look at this ordinance, look towards the future, look at what these technologies have provided you as Iowans and make a reasonable ordinance. Thank you.
Chad White.
I did not ask to be on the.
Oh, well, your name's on here, I'll cross you off. Melanie Patton.
Thank you guys again for being here. On behalf of Henry County Watchmen and the large majority of Henry County citizens that have supported our efforts for the past year or more, we would like to thank each of you, the Planning and Zoning Commission members, for the time, effort, and energy you have put forth to research, ask questions, and study this issue. The decisions that are made concerning alternative energy will impact Henry County, the citizens who call this beautiful place home now and for generations into the future, the family farms that have made this county a place of distinction with an incomparable quality of life, as well as the sights, sounds, and feel of our corner of Iowa. We know you have not taken this position lightly, as you have learned, grown, and assisted in the process, as have we. We appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this discussion and look forward to continuing to work with you and others to preserve the agricultural way of life that our families have invested in for generations. We pray that the conversation will continue should other issues arise, and that we will each invest into our community the time and attention needed to make common sense decisions, enact ordinances, and appoint and elect community members that represent us well. A couple of the points that have been brought up about fair competition. I believe that we are now seeing the tide turning across Iowa and across the country concerning fair competition, because many of these projects have come in and they have steamrolled counties. And I am very proud of our county that we have not been steamrolled. We are paying attention to what is going on across Iowa. We are seeing other counties that had ordinances in place and are now improving their ordinances. They're increasing setbacks, they're increasing sound protections, that kind of thing, and also talking about the CSR. So there's a difference between industry and agriculture. That is why CSR is so important, because we live in an agricultural area, so we don't want big industry in ag areas. We're also seeing that there's things turning in the national level concerning the Inflation Reduction Act and production tax credits as well. So we must look at that as well here and realize what the cost is for the health, welfare of our citizens, as well as the discourse that's caused between neighbors and families, the ice wars potentially, or potential catastrophes. So we greatly appreciate each of you that you've taken the time to do this, that you've researched, you've given your input, and you're ready to make recommendations. Thank you.
And Bill Crawford. You've got 9 minutes.
I won't take that long. I just want to thank you folks for your due diligence in this, and thank you for the consideration for the Watchmen ordinance and all the time spent. As far as debating with the opposition, I don't think it's worthy of your time or anybody else in this room. With that, thank you.
With that is all of our speakers.
No one else?
That's everybody on the list. Do you want a motion to go out of public hearing?
Yeah, well, anybody want to move out of public hearing?
I'll make a motion to go out of public hearing.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Maybe you want to go over the recommendations?
I
language that was added for, possible litigation in the county, was that added to the, what we're approving?
Kim's got something.
How about, all claims in litigation regarding the ordinance would be heard in Henry County, would be under the venue of Henry County.
But it's not in this.
No.
I'm gonna make a motion to have that added.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to add that verbiage on. Okay.
You wanna read that?
Sure.
Here.
Do we need to put?
Hard to do it this way.
Did you second that, Kim?
I'm still writing, I have a second, but then you can
Okay.
add. Originate. Okay, let me read that loud. I have all claims and litigation regarding the ordinance will originate and be heard in Henry County.
I think we can add that, and if the board of supervisors want to change it, they can.
They can change it.
We haven't
Do
had
it
any.
better. They can have the conversation.
Yes,
Work for you?
that's fine too.
Right.
Is that a second, Jim? Adding that? Yes, I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye. So we're adding that to the Henry County Watchmen, correct? Correct. So, Mr. Chairman, are you ready for a motion to?
Yeah. Is there a motion to, approve the Henry County Watchmen?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will make a motion that we approve it.
Anyone second? All in favor? Aye. Is that all we need to do?
I think so. Motion passed, correct?
Yeah, motion passed. Have any other business, Joe?
I have nothing else, no.
Okay.
Just need a motion to adjourn about where you're at.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn, you got a second?
I'll second.
You got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye.
Yeah, I'll add the rest. Thank you.
A lot of passion, people care, and there are good points from all directions. And I am glad I am not a elected public official, because I don't want your job, gentlemen and ladies, and lady. And I want to thank you guys. Thank all of you for watching. Thank my sponsors: Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Hinshaw Trailer Sales, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, the Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. Hey, do me a favor. Give this episode a like, and make sure to follow and subscribe to the podcast. I sure appreciate it. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.